Aha! And you thought, oh man, you thought we weren't gonna do a show. It feels like forever since we've done a show, and it's only been a few days. I guess that's what happens when your soul is taken from your face, Travis. It's sucked right out of your mouth. It's losing sucks. It's week 9 is in the books. It's episode 88. The let's run down the players like we normally do. It's the Disc Sheep episode. It's the Michael Irvin. It's who else we missing?
Des Bryant.
Des Bryant, of course.
88. Marvin Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great receivers, number 88. Maybe they'll pop in our head. We'll just spout them off as they come to us in the show.
Yep.
But man,
great
that's
Bernard Berrien.
a lot of huge performances and a lot of coming up short.
So much.
All over the place week 9, but week 10 is close.
So much.
Let's talk about week 9. Let's see what happened. How are we doing?
Let's talk about it because there's plenty to talk about. First, let's talk about happiness. Let's talk about back when things like you had hope and your fantasy teams were doing good, or at least there was, some aspect of chance that you could reach the playoffs in your one home league that you care about. Let's talk about that. You got anything on that, Travis?
Cut right to it, Dustin.
I want to cut right there. Let's cut through the crap, okay? Let's get to the nitty gritty here. I'm not having a good time. I had a great week. Dang it, I had a great week.
Dustin played Joe Mixon in our home league and took the L.
Dang it! Just why do bad things happen to good people? Why? I need to know. What did I do?
As the kids say, it be like that sometimes.
It be like that sometimes. Let's just get into the rundown, okay? Let's just get into the rundown.
I'm gonna dive in to the rundown. I'll be exhausted because it's like a triathlon.
Games were played, and
were those players moving? Wow.
Those players were moving.
This
Travis.
man, you should be getting paid to do this.
That
was gorgeous. The rundown is elevating by the week.
To get with the owners and see if they can spare a few bucks each week. But yeah, we had some games that were played. Like you said, man, some big performances, some doozies, if you will. And we're going to talk about them. First game, Travis, this one is not a doozy.
I'll give you this one. I don't want to talk about this game.
Cool, awesome. Let me throw open my mouth real quick.
You're like, yes, I really want
awesome.
This one.
I can't wait to talk about the Patriots and the Colts. Yum. Look, I'll just leave it brief real quick. We're going to get to the good teams. The Colts suck. Okay, the most exciting thing about this game was that it resulted in their head coach getting fired. And now, for whatever reason, Jeff Saturday is a coach in the NFL. I want to briefly talk about that press conference. I don't know if you saw it, Trav, but no. Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, and my favorite line of this, we're really fortunate he was available. You mean the guy who no one was going after? You mean the guy that no one was competing with you on?
He followed it up with there was nobody else. Is basically what he said. We had no other options, so at least we had a really good one.
If only we had 2 coaches on our roster that had head coaching experience. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, all the options sucked in this matchup. Let's move over to the other side of the ball, though. The Patriots. Ramondre Stevenson also was the only relevant player in this. He went 15 for 60 on the ground, had a receiving touchdown. That's about as much relevance you're going to get out of this game, Trav. Let's move on to another matchup in the Packers and the Lions.
So frustrating. I feel like a broken record saying this about Aaron Rodgers, my favorite player in the NFL. Yeah. 3 picks, and it feels like these picks are just all being batted at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And they go 20 feet in the air, and you're like, oh, my God. You just throw whatever you're holding up into the air. Hopefully it's your phone, not like a bowl of popcorn or your laptop, something that would really...
It's always something valuable.
That would really get repetitive every weekend if you're doing that due to Aaron Rodgers. Alan Lazard is very reliable. We will get there later in the show. He is who we hoped he would be. Romeo Doubs gets hurt, should be out 4 to 5 weeks. Ouch. And Aaron Jones gets hurt as well. He's in a walking boot. We'll see if he gets back. He had a good medical report that he was clear, so we'll see if he gets in this week. They have historically been very cautious with him. They have also historically been like 11-3 when he gets banged up. So I don't know if they can afford to say, oh, well, we'll just, give A.J. Dillon 2 or 3 weeks.
Aaron Jones fell so we could fly. Is that what you're trying to say?
It's A.J. Dillon time. And they're like, we have no choice. Aaron Jones is healthy. The Lions continue to coddle DeAndre Swift as Jamal Williams continues to be the relevant running back. This is really frustrating at this point. Y'all are killing me with this shit. If DeAndre Swift was fully back after his injury, which was the plan, we would be okay. But to have the injury, then get gray area when he's coming back. He comes back. Now you have gray area about how much he's going to be used. We're getting nothing definitive except for an underperforming DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll get to him later, too.
Hopefully you drafted Jamal Williams in the 3rd round like we told you to.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Okay.
A lot.
A lot.
Keep it rolling here.
Keep it rolling, man. The Chargers and the Falcons. Look, there were actually some fantasy relevant performances here. Eckler had a pretty good day. You know what? Herbert had an okay day. He was able to facilitate 100 yards to Jordan Palmer.
Joshua.
Did I say Jordan Palmer?
You did.
Goodness gracious.
That's
Joshua
okay.
Palmer. I'm so sorry. Eckler.
Apologize to Joshua. We know you're watching.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. He's a big fan of the show. And Eckler, of course, had a couple touchdowns. He is continuing his run as the running back 1 overall on the year, which not a shocker. The dude just, when everyone else is hurt especially, the dude just gets work.
Professional bucket getter.
That's right. On the other side of the field, though, the Falcons put up some relevant players. Holy cow. Welcome back, CPAT. That dude is the string beaniest bruising running back I've ever seen in my life. And
big body.
Watching him, look, he gets to the goal line. He's like, I don't care if I'm a stick. I'm going to run through you. And just bowls over linebackers, and you freaking love it. You love it. Him and Tyler Algier going for like 90 yards. It's granted, they lost the game because Arthur Smith, he's going to run the ball no matter what.
Did you see the end of that game? They should have won that game.
I didn't. I actually didn't
Herbert
watch,
threw a pick with like 40 seconds left. Atlanta's running it back. 30 yards into the run back, he fumbles without being touched. He just drops the ball. And the Chargers fall on it, get enough, and kick a field goal.
Yeah.
The most Chargers win of all time.
Of course. Ouch.
My question is this. Austin Eckler now, over the last 5 weeks.
Okay.
26.1 points per game.
Ooh.
My goodness. Dustin.
That's beautiful.
Outside of Christian McCaffrey, is there anyone that somebody could trade to you where you would give up Austin Eckler in a redraft?
You said outside of Christian McCaffrey?
Yes. In a half PPR redraft, is there a single player, if somebody sent you an offer, that they could get Eckler from you?
1-for-1, no.
Nobody.
There's no one. There's no one I would think about. Yeah, it would have to be a package.
He's the number one. He's the number one player. Like you would have to get Cooper Kupp and what?
You'd have to get Cooper Kupp and another decent running back.
Like would you take Antonio Gibson and Cooper Kupp and give up Eckler?
No.
So you're really talking you need a top 20 player with Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
that's absurd.
If I could get ETN, if I can get someone like ETN and a wide receiver, sure, absolutely. But
it's wild.
No one's making that deal. No one's making that deal. So yeah, he is that guy. He is that guy for sure. Let's talk some Bills and Jets.
Josh Allen has everybody waiting right now about his wee little UCL in his arm.
This is a huge deal. He's the 101, man.
Massive deal for he and Stephon Diggs. Buffalo is trying to downplay it, saying it's not that big of a deal. Sure. We'll manage it. It's a very manageable thing. He'll practice less.
Yeah.
Any injury to a player like this is enormous. Hopefully it's not, but I am scared.
Yeah.
However, this week, even with the hurt arm, you see he hurt his arm on a 70-yard throw.
Yeah, so just uncorked a bomb and hit Gabe Davis.
All
right
of
in
a
the
sudden, he
chest.
can only throw for 68 yards. No problem. However, he still got it done on the ground. 0 touchdowns,
Right.
2 interceptions, 26.8 fantasy points.
Yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns, man. That'll do it.
Ridiculous. Matchup
He's a
proof.
unicorn.
There's not much to talk about Josh Allen. He should be fine. I'm worried a little bit, but not a lot. And then the Jets. The Jets toughed it out. Pulled off the upset. Michael Carter did produce. Garrett Wilson appears to be coming on as a weapon. 8 for 92.
Yes, sir.
Where do you have Garrett Wilson right now?
He is probably right around, he's a low-end wide receiver 2 for me. I'd put him right around that 26 to 24-ish range.
Juju or Garrett Wilson?
Oh, Juju.
Okay. So you got Juju 15-ish then, if it was that easy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Juju here later. But
Okay.
yeah, he's someone I like right now.
All right.
For sure.
That's it for that one, Jets. I can't believe the Jets pulled off that game. I was shocked.
They're tough, man. Crazy stuff happens in division.
Football is better when the Jets are decent. Like when you go into Sunday and you're like, I don't know that the Jets are getting blown out. They could beat anybody. I love it.
Yep. Absolutely. The Vikings and the Commanders. Man, why do I keep getting all these butter games? Like, these are just like disgusting. But
Kirk Cousins on the plane was not disgusting.
No, that
man was going ham.
I would argue that he caused the Schefter thing on Monday night, and for that I am mad.
That's what Schefter was doing.
I know. I know. It
So
was
he
because
definitely
of
caused
Cousins
it.
that
You don't have to
Schefter felt
argue.
comfortable taking his clothes off on television.
Schefter
That's
was
a different kind of Shefty bomb. Right
Shefty's
there.
in good shape, man.
He is in good shape, but like I don't like turn on Monday Night Football, a whole bunch of testosterone going. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a shirtless guy I've been wanting to. I don't know. All right, we're getting off track. Getting off track. Kirk Cousins to Justin Jefferson in this game against the Commanders. They were all right, man. They were all right. We know that connection's alive and well. JJ has a nice day, but the guy I want to talk about more because he's the new guy, new toy, shiny, all that good stuff. TJ Hawkinson, are we looking at a revival here? Are we looking at like he wasn't dead before he came to Minnesota, but he had 9 receptions, not targets. He had 9 receptions is the more important number here. I think we've talked about it before, and with the Adam Thielen decline, I think we might be looking at the next step in option for this offense. I think TJ Hawkinson might be that number 2 option moving forward. I don't think it's crazy to think that.
Yeah, I think his numbers this weekend showed he could very easily be the number 2 in that passing attack.
Yeah, I mean,
Kirk
who would
Cousins,
you take over him?
I don't know if it's a Vikings deal because they have a change of coaching staff, but it may be a Kirk Cousins deal. They have tried so hard to have a tight end that they can get involved on a regular basis. Yep. Whether it was Rudolph or Irv Smith, Conklin, they're like, they need this in their offense, and Hawkinson, you see it. That's why they went and got him, was to be this role. So yeah, your question: how many tight ends would you take over Hawkinson the rest of the way? I think it would be Kelsey, Andrews. Probably. If Waller's healthy, man, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't even say that. It's Kelsey, it's Andrews, and you could. We're far enough in where I don't even think
Goddard. I would take
Taysom.
Goddard.
Yeah, I was gonna say Goddard was gonna be the next one for me. But Taysom Hill's not the guy that I'm gonna start over him. Not when you're seeing production and volume. Yeah, granted, it's 1 week, but I don't think he falls off. That's
George
still a
Kittle.
high volume.
I'd still take George Kittle.
He's right in there. That's the top 5 right now. Kyle Pitts is not in there right now.
So Hawkinson is your 5.
Yeah, Hawkinson would. Well, I personally like him over Kittle, but
wow, wow, that's spicy.
That is spicy. But anyway, Washington. Not to miss the forest for the trees here. But this is an ugly tree. I hate this tree. This Washington offense is nothing but one giant flex play, bye-week fill-in.
It feels like a bunch of the same guys just wearing different numbers.
It's like, what did everyone produce? They had 5 receptions for 50 yards. Who? All of them. They all had 5 opportunities and 50 yards.
Did you ever play NCAA football mascot mode.
Yes.
And there's like you play with Bama, and there's 11 elephants out there, and you've got 11 alligators running around. That's what it feels like with Washington. It's like they're all the same. They might as well not have names, and you don't fall in love with any of them. It's like Sunday comes and goes, and you're like,
wide receiver catches past 4 yards.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's really all you have to do.
I hope that's the one I had to stream, but I have no idea who that is.
It's ugly, and I'm sorry. I don't have another nice thing to say. Heineke has been a decent bye-week fill-in, quarterback for Superflex and all this other good stuff. But yeah. Hopefully after Bipocalypse, we can all just kind of move on and forget, because Terry has underwhelmed, Curtis Samuel's inconsistent, and he ain't touching these running backs right now. So move along. Let's talk about another barn burner in the Panthers and the Bengals, Travis.
I'll take the Panthers side of this, and then I'll let you talk about Joe Mixon. The Panthers are a dumpster fire. They are.
Yeah.
DeAndre Foreman was going for... Is it Deontay Foreman?
It is Deonta Foreman.
Deontay Foreman. Foreman was going for like 23 and a 24 second. Or a 24 first.
I couldn't believe that.
A mere 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And people thought, he's 90 and a score or 2
Hopefully you
the
sold
rest
high.
of the way. But he's not.
No.
And that was with Chuba out. When Chuba comes back, it's going to be a little bit more of a split. Blackshear, I think, was the lead dog this week as far as fantasy points.
Yeah, it wasn't much, though.
Terrace Marshall is becoming a little bit of a streaming thing.
I don't.
The volume is there. Back-to-back double-digit games.
Yeah,
he's run a route on 93% of snaps.
Yeah, but look at the targets. Like, look at that. He's had 5 targets. He's had 7 targets, I think. Like,
that's streamable. That's very streamable.
Yeah, if you take away the touchdown, like, it's
if you stream a wide receiver in a half PPR and he gives you anywhere between 9 and 14 points,
sure,
happy.
That's a fair point.
And it's thin right now. Like the Jarvis Landry, Russell Gage, Donovan Peoples-Jones crew that everybody was excited about.
Yeah, if you get a guy that
he's beating those guys.
That's a good point. I don't hate it. I'll take the Bengals, man. Because
go ahead, just go off. You can come back to it.
Everybody hurts.
Yeah. Why, Joe? Why 5 touchdowns? Joe Mixon, man. You're like, you know what? I'm going to be borderline annoying all season. I'm going to have the usage. People are going to talk about, oh, man, he should have this many points. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to give you more points. Did you know, coming into this game, he was the running back 9. You know what he is right now, Travis? Do you know what he is right now? He's the running back 2. He's the running back 2.
Decent week.
Decent freaking week, man. I have a historic game with my team. And then I face the one Joe Mixon, and it's just like, look, everybody else on the Bengals, just to be, to cover the whole team. Joe Burrow went for 200 and a couple scores. Joe Mixon, man, 5 touchdowns, 4 on the ground, 1 through the air, had 153 yards on the ground. The Panthers were just a sieve on defense. It was just awful. T. Higgins.
Is it a sieve or is it a sieve?
Whatever it is, I'm sad. Okay, that's what it is. It is a
Can
sad
you spell
time.
sieve?
Yeah, it's SIEVE.
I think so. I think
that is it. I think
we'll have to get a little follow up on if it's a sieve or a sieve.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to clip this and put it on there. But other weapons, T. Higgins is the wide receiver 18 over the last 2 weeks.
That's not enough. That is not enough.
It's not terrible. It's not.
If I asked you when Jamar Chase was ruled out for the next 4 weeks, T. Higgins, inside, outside your wide receiver,
sure,
8,
but like
8,
you're talking
you would
about
say inside easy.
Yeah, sure. But
wide receiver 18 is 11.9 points per
You had
game.
one. It's an anomalous game. You had to get a running back that the other team couldn't stop. Like, I'm not gonna fault T. Higgins. He's still great. He's produced in a game without Jamar Chase.
I know Mixon was the man.
Give him some more time. Give him some more time. He's gonna be fine. Joe Mixon, on the other hand, let's just talk about me for a second. I'm not fine.
You're not
okay?
fine.
Anyone want to know how I am? I'm not fine.
Moving on, we'll get back
All
to
right.
how not fine you are because
Not.
when we recap the big picks, one of us was happy, one is not. The Raiders and the
Ugh.
Jaguars, Dustin's closet team, Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders looked competent at times in this game, particularly in the first half. Devontae Adams went off 10 for 146 and 2. It felt like he did that. He felt like he did that in like a quarter and a half. And then the Raiders did what the Raiders do. They disappeared.
Yep.
ETN absolutely took over, 100 yards and 2 scores.
Trevor
Lawrence was 235 yards and a touchdown and they win.
Yeah.
Like and the sad thing is that they're totally fine with that.
Yeah, he's just
do enough.
He's just a game manager plus right now.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get more next year. I mean, he's not at this point, Travis, we're a year and a half into his career, and I can't honestly tell someone like, no, he's a generational prospect. He does just enough to
the
win
one
the
thing
game.
the one thing you've said though is you want him to look decisive, and you have on the show sheet that he looked decisive.
He did look
Christian
decisive
Kirk had
here.
a good day. Question about this game going forward is Travis Etienne. Is he to me, he's a top 3 exciting player in the NFL, in quotes.
Yeah.
In fantasy, it's Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, and Travis Etienne at the top. As far as you turn on the TV, they get the ball, and you say, yeah, he's different.
I would put him
Who
in
else
top
is in there?
5.
Kenneth Walker?
No, dude. For me, it's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is in that.
But you know exactly what you're getting with Derrick Henry.
Right.
Like, how many times in a game do they hand off to Derrick Henry and you're like, oh my gosh, this dude's crazy? Like,
there's a few.
You've seen it for so long now.
Right.
It's not as
don't get me
exciting.
wrong. Travis Etienne he's ballistic.
I'm just talking
right now.
box office.
Yeah.
If somebody has not watched the NFL in 5 years,
Yeah.
he's one of the players that I want him to watch.
Sure. Yeah. In terms of running backs, Etienne's definitely there. He is one of my favorites. Absolutely.
I texted
Top
you
3
on
is fair.
Sunday in our group, and I said Dustin could not be happier with what's going on with Justin Fields and Travis Etienne.
Right.
Yes, you want to win fantasy games. Yes, your heart is hurting in the home
is.
league.
For
But
sure.
from a more macro scale, watching your team, the Bears quarterback, do this in fantasy and real life,
Yeah. It's
got to be like you turn
I've never
the TV
had
off
that
and you're
feeling.
like, we're here.
It's nice. It's nice. It's nice to finally see some relevance.
We're moving in the right
Thank you.
direction. I'm sure you didn't like watching Roquan ball out last night.
You know what?
You happy for him, but man,
Yeah.
Keep
I
him.
knew he's great. He's great.
Yeah.
But I understand the moves. I get it. It's right move for both sides.
all right. I have to talk about the Dolphins, and then I'll give you the Bears.
Yeah.
because
talk about these Dolphins, man. I want you to nail this
Tua,
description right here.
Alabama was once again a top 5 fantasy quarterback, now sitting at QB7 on the year. We
Yep.
know he has the speed at receiver, but you still have to be good enough to. I mean, you don't just fall into QB7, and that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Is that I don't feel like I'm wrong about him. A good quarterback fantasy wise because of his weapons. He's going to produce,
Right.
and he's going to finish a lot higher than I thought. So. It's week 10. It's not like it's week 4 and I'm like, oh, that was that one fluke game against Baltimore. Like, he's doing this now on a week-to-week basis.
He is that guy.
I will ask this later, but we can touch on it real quick. Tua or Kyler Murray? Rest of
This
season.
is tough because this was actually a trade that was offered to me. Tua and Kyler straight up, and I've had to think about it.
Then we're gonna wait. We're gonna make the viewers all 0 wait until we get to that question later, and we will hash it out.
For sure. I'm here for it.
Give me the Bears.
Well, don't skip
Oh yeah,
over
that's
Jeff
right.
Wilson.
My name is Jeff.
Don't skip over Jeff Wilson because this is relevant, man.
Do you think he's the lead dog, or do you think it was just this game?
I think it's going to be a split. I moving
agree.
forward.
I start them both. If you're
I
thin
think
at running back, start both.
I think they're definitely usable. Both touchdown dependent probably, but you never know who's going to get it. Mostert actually got the touchdown this week.
We now have 5 Miami Dolphins that you can start with confidence right now.
I would say you could start 3 of them, and the running backs I'm less confident in now. Like I said,
They're
flex,
RB2s.
yeah, but I'm saying like on a weekly basis, like Jeff Wilson, you're not going to face the Bears each week, so one of these guys is going to have to get a touchdown.
But when you're talking like that 20 to 24 range on the season are guys
Sure.
like Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson or Antonio Gibson?
Yeah, I'd probably go Jeff Wilson. Yep.
Raheem Mostert?
Yeah, I'd probably go Mostert over him
Right.
too.
So
right,
these
yeah,
guys are
fair
very
point. Fair point.
They're flex or better every week.
Right.
You're confident in that.
They're
in
both
that
not going to
level.
produce each week.
Right.
But I hear what you're saying though. You can put them in
Like
there.
Khalil Herbert or Jeff Wilson. It's Jeff Wilson right now. Until something happens to Montgomery.
Okay. I like. Look, that's probably the homer in me. I got to be realistic. Yeah. Jeff
I
Wilson
like
probably,
Herbert. I just traded for him, but
Sure.
he's not getting enough work.
Yeah. That's fair. We've all right. We can move on past Jeff Wilson. The Bears. History has been made, Travis, in the way of Justin Fields absolutely erupting, man. Let's talk about 3 touchdowns through the air. Let's talk about a record-setting 178 yards on the ground. This is exactly what we wanted to see when he came into the league, when people were rumored to be building an offense around him. They're finally my favorite line, Travis, that I've heard all week was that they finally stopped making him play quarterback and they let him play football. That is exactly what I want to hear. And honestly, it's what I love to see. This guy came in here. He is now he's over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think he's the quarterback 1. And it is beautiful. It's beautiful to see. And it's not a far stretch of the imagination. And honestly, I think it's downright true that he is the best quarterback in the 2021 quarterback class so far. And I think by this time next year, I don't think it's particularly close.
How things change so fast.
It's getting a little bit ahead of myself, but it was fun. It was fun to see the Bears. 32-35, they lost this game, but that's what look, as far as a fan goes, that's the best case scenario. They played well, they showed promise, but they lost the game. Bolster the draft capital. Let's fire it up again next week. Let's lose 45-46.
So that's what I want to ask you about on a real life NFL level. He was quoted saying, and I think everybody saw this, "I'm tired of being, quote, so close. It's killing me to be so close." That was about 5 weeks ago that he said that. Yeah. Since then, they're 1-4.
Yep.
And all of them have been so close.
So close.
Except for the Cowboys. They murdered them. But do you think he's happy?
Fields?
Yeah. Because he's producing? At least he's producing, even if the team's 1-4 since he said that.
I think that I don't know I'm gonna have to touch with some sources here and see what the conversations are like in the building, because I don't know if he's just unhappy or whatever. I'm sure he's frustrated with losing. As a competitor and an athlete, like, you're probably not happy with losing. But
right.
Man, I think
the big stats make it a little
probably
better.
Helps to see that they're doing better. Sure.
Okay.
But I'm sure that the line I've heard is that Dante Pettis said it. He said there's no consolation prize or moral victories in the NFL. So you kind of got to roll with it.
Seahawks and Cardinals. Geno Smith is playing great. Kenneth Walker III is playing great. He is going to be here, barring health. He's going to be elite for a long time.
One could argue that the Seahawks could win that division.
One could argue that. I can't wait for them to play the 49ers. That'll be the game of the week on this show.
Seahawks are going to win that game. They're going to win that game.
Wow.
You know what the number 3 fantasy scoring defense is this year, Travis?
Oddly
enough, it's the Seahawks.
Wow. I'm shocked by this. They're good on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Noah Fant, 96 yards in a game where the wide receivers did not need to do much. Tyler Lockett still caught a touchdown. This team is clicking. They've got weapons at every position. They've got exactly what they need. And like you just said, the defense is giving them plenty. They're fun.
The Broncos,
they're fun to watch. We have spent so long hating the Seahawks because of Russell Wilson. It's kind of nice that Geno has given us a clean slate and said we're okay. It's okay to root for us.
It is. You know what? It's nice. I'm letting that hate go. It's in Denver right now.
For me, the hate is with Kyler Murray. He continues to underwhelm. He is QB6 on the year. It feels like he's QB16 because I watch the games because I have a lot of shares of Kyler Murray. And when you watch the games, it is painful. Your eyes might bleed.
Yeah, that's fair.
8 for 60 on the ground saves your fantasy day. But where is the big day? Where is Kyler Murray's big day? We're 10 weeks in now. DeAndre Hopkins is there. Zach Ertz is there. Hollywood's not, but he will be eventually. And
correct.
It feels like, okay, this could be the week. And it's just never the week. You watch the game, and the balls are getting batted down at the line of scrimmage at a ridiculous rate. They design a QB draw. It looks like he has a ton of room. Somebody reaches out one finger and just clotheslines him. And it's killing me. It's slowly killing me. I hate watching the Cardinals now. I've decided I'm not watching them anymore.
I mean, that's kind of been the thing with the Cardinals. You don't watch the games. You just kind of watch the output at the end.
It's so frustrating. And I vent to you guys in our group message, this guy sucks. And it's like, yeah, but he had 20 points. It's like, I don't care. He sucks.
It's awful to look at. It really is. It's
and they just gave him a boatload of money. So those fans, imagine being a Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
And you give him this kind of contract, this kind of commitment, and every week you watch this shit.
Yeah. It's
tough,
Do you think
man. Didn't Cliff get a big extension too?
Yeah, he's there for another 5 years. It's awful.
It's like, yes, this group is great, and everybody else outside of that group is like, this group is not great.
This group, no.
And they're yelling at each other all game. It just looks terrible.
It's pretty rough, man.
I'm glad I don't play for them. I mean, money-wise, it'd be nice, but of all teams to play for, they seem like it'd be frustrating.
Yeah, the money, but like I feel better not.
I'd play somewhere else if I could.
Right. Yeah. While we're on the topic of frustrating bad teams, let's talk about the Rams and the Bucks. Gross. This was Can we?
What is happening?
I'm just gonna skip over the Rams. It's the same story each and every week. If your name's not Cooper Kupp, you suck at fantasy football. That's just it. Like you suck for fantasy football. It's bad.
Yeah.
The Bucks, on the other hand, also bad. The the pass catchers all suck. The running backs didn't really do anything for you to make you feel good. And checks notes, the top receiving producer was Cade Otton.
A week late.
Check that off your bingo card. The second, don't worry, you'd probably think, well, Mike Evans is probably the second leading receiver. No, it was actually Scotty Miller. Why? And then on top of it, we have a running back controversy, Travis, because if you really want to make a team cohesive, you really want to have people questioning their starting roles. So, Rachaad White, Leonard Fournette, who cares, man? Who cares? If Leonard Fournette goes away, is Rachaad White all of a sudden going to be great? I don't know.
Not great, but he would
usable.
be in everybody's lineup.
Yeah, you'd have to start him.
The beat reporters in Tampa Bay, I saw today on Twitter, are saying that Rachaad White could take over this backfield very soon. It feels like Tampa Bay is just looking for a scapegoat for the struggles.
There has to be.
It's not Leonard Fournette's fault.
No.
That this offense is not working.
God, no. It's Adam Schefter.
Mike Evans has the drops right now. It looked like
a
he
lot
dropped
of people
3
have
or
the
4
drops, man. A lot of people have the drops on this team. It's everyone. Look, my least favorite narrative of this entire thing has been, Tom Brady's washed. Like, have you watched the games? Tom Brady is not washed. The dude still slings it. He's still accurate. He has no offensive line. It's been the same thing for his entire career. If you don't protect the man and you're not catching the passes that he throws, kind of hard for him to produce. He's still good. Like, watch the games. He and Matthew Stafford, not the same. Matthew Stafford looks like he's really struggling out there.
Yeah.
Like, really struggling. Tom Brady does not look like that.
O-lines are ridiculously important.
Yeah, for sure. Unless
we
you're
should
mobile.
We should make a note somewhere to really focus on O-lines when ranking players next July and August.
For sure.
Because it matters.
Just absolutely get decimated. To ask me how the Steelers are doing, and we'll talk.
What team with a bad O-line is doing decent? It's like,
I mean, the Bears have a pretty rough O-line, they thought.
If you have a bad O-line,
mobile quarterback.
your quarterback has to be able to run
Yeah.
fast. Titans and Chiefs. Malik Willis, he can run fast.
Still
but he
not good.
looked terrible. Derrick Henry, still historically good.
Yeah.
There is no answer for Derrick Henry. Dustin, are you going to fall for the he's 28 going on 29 next year, or are you going to rank him in your top 5 running backs?
I don't see a reason how you can keep him out of the top 5.
I agree.
If you watch him play,
Who's been this consistent? Eckler?
Forget the numbers. Watch the game. Tell me who's going to tackle that man.
Nothing's changing. Until we see it, nothing's changing.
He is still large. He still gets a bunch of carries. And unless we start seeing him breaking down, which, granted, he's had a injury season, I'm rolling with him. The dude's a tank. Like, put the shoes on and get out there. Like, he's going to be a top 5 back.
What would you pay for him in Dynasty?
Look, if you can get it for like a late first. Sure,
23 first.
Yeah, I would do a late 23 first.
If you're contending.
If you're contending, just sell it. Honestly, I would 23 first, and then if they're like, oh, give me another pick, like you can get like another couple thirds or like a 24 second or something like that, do it. Toss it in. Because that dude,
he's
win
a
yourself
top 5
a champion.
back, and he will be again next year.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
This game did not have the feel of a game where Patrick Mahomes threw for over 400 yards.
No, it really didn't. It was a lot of dink and dunk throws.
He's the best quarterback in the world.
Yeah.
There's
I texted
no
you
debate.
during this game. I said, Philly and Kansas City in the Super Bowl. And you're like, Bills? I'm like, Patrick Mahomes doesn't play for the Bills.
Yeah, you're right. The Bills can get up, and I think they're very balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And
good defense.
They just beat
They're
the
a great
Chiefs.
team.
But Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet.
They're special, man.
He will go down as the best quarterback of all time.
Oh, wow.
It won't be close. Who will be better?
Tom Brady.
No way.
They put up an interesting stat on this. They said at his current pace, even with the extra game, Patrick Mahomes would have to play until he's 41 years old to reach the passing yardage that Tom Brady has.
Because of all the playoff games?
They're saying like at his current pace, like he would have to. Granted, remember Tom Brady played like the first like 18 seasons or 19 seasons or whatever. How many seasons now? Actually, no, like 20 seasons.
He also, like, if Patrick Mahomes played until he's 41, then Tom Brady has an additional 4 or 5 seasons on him. So, yeah, I can see that.
For me, longevity, like, we're not getting into the whole debate, but, like, Tom Brady is going to be the GOAT for me. Like, that, I don't think it's going to change. Unless he wins a whole bunch of championships, I don't see Patrick Mahomes
it's tough. Rings, well, that's a different debate.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later.
Kelsey and Juju continue to get all the work.
Yep.
We loved them all offseason. I have more shares of Juju and Kelsey than pretty much any other player. Tony actually looked okay in his limited role. I think they'll start to get him. They definitely want to. Running back is non-existent.
Yeah.
You really cannot start any of them. Is there another team in the NFL you can't start a single running back and feel okay?
Oh, goodness. I don't feel great starting the Bills running backs right now.
I'd rather start Singletary than any Chiefs running back.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, Patrick Mahomes was the leading rusher
he's that
for
man
the team.
It's so fun to watch. McCall Hardman.
Yeah.
Is he fool's gold? We have seen this before from him. We may not have seen it at this level. Wide receiver 9 over the last 5 weeks.
Look, man, I'm a Mecole truther. I said before the season, look, man, this dude has played wide receiver for only 5 years.
We're gonna have to dig up some of those tweets.
I have it. I'll pull it right now.
You should.
But I said I tagged him in the tweet and I said, look, man, you're gonna blow up. This is your breakout year. Like I said, 5 years this man has played wide receiver. Like, the dude was a cornerback, converted to wide receiver, and now he's producing on a top offense. So I love Mecole. I think he's underrated, and I feel like people give him undue hate because he wasn't Tyreek Hill early in his career. So give him some time. They want to use him that way. I think they're gonna. It's my favorite line where it's like, we don't have Tyreek Hill, but we can create him in the aggregate. Like, they're just gonna create him. They're gonna $1 million man it, and they're gonna have him. So that's my take.
All right, Monday night, you got it.
All right, Monday night, the Ravens and the Saints.
Lost.
We have the Ravens and the Saints. Look, man, this game was all about defense. Defense and running the ball. That's all the Ravens had to do because the Saints couldn't get anything going. The Ravens, man, the only player that really produced was Kenyon Drake, enough to absolutely break me. But that's okay. And he had 90
Backup camera. Sorry to interrupt everybody.
It's all good. Welcome back. 90 yards and a couple scores for Kenyon Drake. Isaiah Likely filling in, quote unquote, for Mark Andrews, and he only caught one ball. Unfortunately, it was a touchdown for those of you facing him. But Isaiah Likely coming up, when it counted, and that was still enough to be a top 10 tight end. So what kind of a world are we living in?
He should have had a lot more.
Yeah,
They
Lamar
said his
missed
name
him.
a lot.
Lamar missed him.
He was there for some huge plays.
This team's gonna make the playoffs, and then they're gonna lose. That's my take on it.
Don't mind
The Saints. The Saints look bad. Dalton looked bad. Kamara looked bad. This team, they're not gonna be able to compete with the good teams. That's just kind of, I think we're finding them to be that kind of archetype of team, whereas Olave looks to show some promise, and that's really what you're seeing. He's not going to be consistent enough to be that top-end producer yet. He's a fine dynasty asset, absolutely, but I don't think that Chris Olave is quite there yet to be that relied upon. Doesn't matter who else on the field, Olave's there, so we're going to have to wait. Travis, I understand that you're feeling some sort of way about this Kamara performance.
Yeah, I don't want to take up everybody's time. I think it's probably a lot more boring for everybody who is not currently managing these teams. So
yeah,
all I have to say is I traded for Alvin Kamara at
Who did you
5:30.
trade? Who did you trade for him?
2 different deals to get Kamara.
Right.
In both leagues, I was within 15 points, and
Right.
I tried to buy a win. I think one of them was Pittman in a pick, and the other one was Dobbins, Elijah Mitchell, Duvernay, somebody else. Neither were incredibly cheap, but I really thought every week is a season, and if you can put yourself in a position with one move to go into Monday night and steal a game, you got to take it. And I felt like a trade genius when these happened.
Yeah.
One of them, I got Alvin Kamara because I had Drake, and I was like, Drake can't get 15. So I have to go get Kamara. And I benched Drake, and Drake goes for 23. I would have won the game.
Oof.
Moving on.
Oof.
Dustin,
That'll finish.
let's move on from Kamara. He's been
Yeah.
saddening my day all day.
That'll finish up the rundown. Let's talk about what we learned, Travis.
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today.
Travis, what did we learn for week 9?
Funny you should ask, Dustin. We've got 3 things that we learned this weekend. Number 1,
Only 3.
Cordarrelle Patterson is still
Corduroy.
absolutely legit. Let's discuss. Dustin, Cordarrelle Patterson, points per game this year, 14.9.
Yes, sir.
In comparison, Dameon Pierce on the season, 14 points per game. Miles Sanders, 13.9. Leonard Fournette, 13.7. Given his next 4 weeks, and by his, I mean Patterson, where do you have him against the guys I just mentioned? These are the best of the RB2s.
Okay.
Cordarrelle Patterson has Carolina, Chicago, Washington, and Pittsburgh. 4 great matchups right now.
Wow. I think I might have him right below Pierce. But man, it's hard to not include him.
In a redraft, if you had Pierce and somebody said, "I'll give you Cordarrelle Patterson," would you take it?
Probably not straight up, but yeah, I definitely consider Patterson is right there.
So you would not take him for Pierce, Sanders, or Fournette?
I would probably take take
This
him.
is the disrespect
I
that
would probably,
comes
yeah.
with Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I just can't get on board with it.
Why can't we? I feel the
don't
same
know.
way. If I have him and somebody if I get a boop, boop, you've been proposed a trade. Miles Sanders
Right.
for your Cordero Patterson. I'm hitting accept.
I don't know if I would take Miles Sanders over him. But-
It's just a name that I enjoy seeing on my roster more. But it's wrong. It's
It is
wrong.
It is wrong.
Patterson it belongs over these guys right now.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I agree.
Maybe
They-
not Pierce because, like you said, he's guaranteed 20 to 25 touches. Sanders
they
is not
want him
right
to
now.
eat. Yeah, it's Pierce, Cordero, and then the other two guys.
Okay.
Fournette would be last for me, for sure.
All right. Patterson has been discussed.
Yeah, let's talk about Alan Lazard.
Let's. Number one,
Yeah.
wide receiver in Green Bay, very reliable.
Mm-hmm.
As we said earlier in the show, Dustin, points per game, 12.5.
Yep.
In comparison, Chris Olave, 11.9. Brandon Ayuk, 11.5. Michael Pittman, 10.8. These are
Right.
three fairly large names in fantasy football at the wide receiver position.
Correct.
Would you accept any of those three in a redraft for your Alan Lazard?
No, sir. No, sir, I would not.
I agree.
It hurts to say that about Pittman, too, but I...
Isn't that
that's-
crazy?
My, oh my, how seasons change.
It was like the Chase Jefferson Cup
There-
Diggs tier,
Yeah.
and then right below them after week 2 or 3 was AJ Brown.
Yeah. There's no
Pittman.
way that he's
Who
worse
else?
without Carson Wentz. There's no way. There's no
It's-
way.
It's Alan
Oh,
Lazard
man.
over those guys,
Yeah, for sure.
and
yeah,
he's still
it's-
kind of like Patterson, does not have the sexy appeal.
Yeah, he really doesn't. But he's there. That's what we got.
I'll let you take this one because it
Yeah.
pains my soul.
Look, man, I know no one. If you have Kyler Murray right now, like you're enjoying him being. I can't really say enjoy. If you don't watch the games, if you want to enjoy it, but he is the quarterback 6. Travis thinks he's impossible to watch because the games are maddening. He is, right at 20 points per game, but down the home stretch, when you're in the playoffs, is he someone that you're really confident in that he's going to lead you to the promised land? Travis, are you moving him for any of these quarterbacks that we're about to go over? Let's start with Tua, who's right behind him in one spot at quarterback 7. Are you taking Tua or Kyler? I want to talk about this one because, like I said, this is a trade that I've been offered as well.
Man, the answer is Tua, Alabama.
Oh, wow. All right.
I can't.
In redraft, you're taking
I can't freaking take it anymore. Kyler Murray
Tua. Oh, I love it.
sucks.
And Tua does not. Tua is a talented
Tua
quarterback
sucks less.
who is better than Jacoby Brissett. I want you to say it. He's better than Jacoby Brissett.
He's better than Jacoby Brissett.
Thank you. And
welcome.
you're right, Dustin. He is a good quarterback.
However, if you put Brissett with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I think he would be doing pretty darn well too.
Okay. But he doesn't
But-
have him, so he's not as good.
Correct. I would take Tua for Kyler Murray right now in a redraft. I can't take
Correct.
it anymore.
Correct.
Geno Smith, Justin Herbert, Kirk Cousins are who you
Yep.
have on here.
Yep.
Herbert, I would take over Kyler Murray. Geno Smith, I would take over Kyler Murray.
Oh,
I would probably still lean Kyler over Kirk Cousins.
I think I'd probably take Kyler over Herbert. and
Wow.
Cousins. I think I would. Yeah, I would take Geno over him. I would not take Herbert. I would not take Cousins.
You would take... Okay, so we agree. Geno over Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think he's been. Look, the dude's
You're
just
sick
been
of it.
balling. I'm less sick of it than you are because look, when you watch the games, he does run a fair bit, and those are good. Like he look, even last week or this past game that it wasn't a pretty game. He still had 8 rushes for 60 yards. Like that's an extra touchdown and a half. Like
So you
it's
think
still-
when Hollywood comes back in 3 weeks or so,
right?
Hollywood, Ertz, Hopkins,
Yep.
and the legs of Kyler.
Sure.
Then
Yeah,
why
it's good.
why should we take Geno and Tua?
I mean, one, Tua, look, because Tua still has the weapons. Like Tua is still a good quarterback, and nothing has shown me so far that Tua can't, like, any game that offense right now can put up 40 points.
Yeah.
30 points. Tell me that you're at least not 50-50 going forward on the Cardinals, where it's like they might put up 15 points this game, and that'll be it, because it's a Cliff Kingsbury offense.
I think after listing the weapons and trying to have a cooler head, I would still take Tua. I think I'd probably have to go Kyler over Geno.
I don't fault you. I waffle with Geno and Kyler. The only reason I say that is because Geno is
so safe.
He does feel safe. He's not as exciting. He doesn't have the floor, I think. Like I said, Kyler has not given you really the ceiling game. There has not been that, oh man, that's why you take Kyler. He's just safe floor. And
right.
When he has a big rushing day, a couple rushing touchdowns, then yeah, that gives you, but he hasn't had that kind of game where it's like, there's the potential QB1. It's like, no, it's.
What if I told you Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were both back in 3 weeks?
Then I would consider. I'd still take Kyler. I'd still take Kyler over Herbert.
Okay.
Yeah, the rushing.
All right. Probably need to pump the brakes on selling Kyler for cheap then.
Oh, don't sell him for cheap. But,
I'm just so tired of it.
But I think like Tua for Kyler, like you could probably get Tua plus. Like I'm just saying, you could probably get Tua plus.
Probably, but the Tua owners are going to be so in love with Tua based on what he's given them.
Very much. Let's break down the big picks before we get on out of here, Trav.
All right, let's do it. Kirk Cousins, my big pick of the week at quarterback. Washington made it tough for Captain Kirk. 265 with 2 scores and an interception. That will not get it done as a big pick because big picks have to go off.
Yep, this is true. Wasn't good enough. My quarterback big pick of the week, Travis. Drum roll, no shocker here. It was Justin Fields. Everybody gave me crap when I came back in victory after, you're wearing a Bears hat and all this stuff. Like, this is the first time I've picked Justin Fields.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Justin Fields he was my big pick. I knew he was gonna have a big game. Miami was terrible against rushing quarterbacks, and now we see, the ceiling game for him. He is at that Jalen Hurts level. We're seeing him like 2021 Jalen Hurts equals Justin Fields now. He's safe.
Who would you take rest of season this year?
Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still gonna take Jalen Hurts. Like, that's not.
Are you?
You lied. So for the next 3 weeks, I'm gonna take Justin Fields.
Oh, that's half the rest of the season.
Okay, well, the reason why I say that is if you look at the playoffs, and I tweeted this out, once you get in the fantasy playoffs, Justin Fields has to play Buffalo, then he has to play Philadelphia. Okay, so it's not gonna
keep up.
Yeah, or it's gonna be really good defense and really good defense, and it's also teams that also get to practice against a rushing quarterback.
Okay, so you're hurt by a little then.
I'm hurt by a little bit, but I tweeted
Fields
this
is
out.
your QB4 then. Rest of the way.
He's my QB3.
Huh?
Yeah, he's my QB3.
Allen,
Mahomes,
Hurts,
Allen, Hurts, and then Fields.
Justin Fields over Patrick Mahomes rest of the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's big. That's big, Dustin.
That's where I'm at.
All right. Let's save running backs here.
Yeah. Okay.
Josh
Say
Palmer.
running backs. I had to go talk about my.
We can't have them. We can't get rid of both of the excitement. All right, I'll go ahead and do it. Joe Mixon.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Have a day, young man, against Dustin Blanton, a soon-to-be married man. Dustin, next weekend.
This is true. This is true.
Joe Mixon gives you a pre-wedding gift. 26 touches.
It was no gift.
211 yards and 5 touchdowns on his way to a top 20 fantasy football performance of all time in a must-win game for Dustin in our home league.
I'm so happy for him.
It is not over for you, but he put the nail and hit it one time with a hammer. You know how you got to tap it just a little to establish the hole?
Right.
just to let so that
Yeah.
it won't fall out.
If I get another good smack on that nail right now,
Right.
my season's done.
It's there. The hands don't have to hold the nail there anymore. Is what we're
To
saying.
put it in perspective, everyone, I had Travis Etienne off a big week this past week, and I had Justin Fields in my lineup, and I still lost because of MIXON. That's that's kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yep.
My running back big pick of the week was Aaron Jones. He got hurt, so can't really finish that out. But Aaron Jones, unfortunate. That was an ugly game. So I'm
The
not
curse
really,
of the big picks.
it's
You get picked, you
look,
might get hurt.
That's right. That's right.
Josh Palmer for me, not
Yep.
Jordan. On
thank
Thursday,
you.
on Thursday's show, the process of this pick, the prediction was 10 plus targets, 100 yards, and a touchdown on his way to a big pick. He ended up with 10 targets, 106 yards, and does not score. Touchdowns are fickle. The process was there. It does
was.
not qualify for a win, but I feel like it should be.
It was close, man. It was close. That's
Gotta
all we
get
can
a
get.
score.
My wide receiver big pick of the week was Chris Godwin. He had 10 targets. But again, he didn't produce. He didn't catch all of them. He didn't score a touchdown. Like, he had the volume, and that's what you want. But
Look, I
Again.
had Chris Godwin last show as a buy low.
yep.
I've changed my mind.
Really?
This is a rare instance where somebody who is top 5 in the NFL in targets, he does not have the juice.
Oh,
He does not have the juice.
it's unfortunate. And
It's not. There's no separation. They throw him screen passes and he gets 2 yards. This is not Chris Godwin. Maybe next year we see it.
Sure.
Maybe very end of this year. You
maybe he's still
warned.
recovering.
Yeah, you warned at the beginning of this year. Yes, he's healthy, but we have seen this take an additional off season to really get right because they can
Right.
only do so much during the actual football season. Like,
Yeah.
it's gone in the blink of an eye, and then they get 8 months to get better.
Right.
It's looking like that. It's same thing with
Right.
Robert Woods. It's a little bit more than the system. They're not ready.
No. It's unfortunate. It really is.
Isaiah Likely, my tight end, big pick of the week. Boy, when he scored that first touchdown,
Man.
I was thinking this has got the potential to be tight end 1 on the week.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the only
Yeah.
catch of the night. He did have 5 targets. He should have had a lot more.
Yeah.
The Ravens they were just controlling that game. The
He was still
defense
tight end 9.
was all over him.
Tight
Not
end
good enough,
9.
but Isaiah Likely, if you streamed him,
Yeah.
you probably got plenty from him.
Yeah, he probably did enough to at least not make you angry. Unlike Evan Ingram, man, every time I feel like this guy's gonna go off, he lays an egg. They were down.
To reiterate when you say every time,
Mm-hmm.
as I go to update on the website,
Yeah,
losingsucksfantasy.com.
that's right.
On our homepage, we have our big picks, and I change the graphic each week. And Dustin's
Yep.
tight end, Evan Ingram, we already had a graphic made for him because 2
That's right.
weeks ago,
Yep.
Dustin picked Evan Ingram. And
Yeah.
I didn't have to make a new graphic because
that's
he was
right.
here. So he's your guy, and he did what?
He laid an egg pretty much. He had 8 yards. In between my 2 picks, he had a big week. So I don't. What do you do? The Jags scored 27 points. It was a great matchup for tight ends, but Evan Ingram just whatever. T-Law 235 and a score, just didn't have Ingram on his mind. So I got nothing. You know, Evan
it.
Ingram, man, breaking my heart. Never
You
again.
see why I didn't want to end with Evan Ingram.
I didn't want to end with Ingram.
In hindsight, we could still be talking about Joe Mixon.
Yeah, let's just continue talking about Joe Mixon. Absolutely. Great wedding gift for him.
That guy good. He good.
Yeah. It's funny. While I was doing that, she's like, so my fiance, she was telling me, she's like, if you lose, does that mean you'll have more time for other things? I'm like, out of spite, I'm gonna say no. Like,
no.
I'm gonna do
have
fantasy
less
football even
time.
harder. But that's where
No,
we're
now
at,
I
man.
only have 23 leagues that I'm not eliminated in.
Yeah. Oh gosh, dude, it's rough out there, man. It's rough out here in these streets, these fantasy streets.
1 hour deep. Bring
we're
us
gonna
home.
But we're gonna keep rolling along, man. That's as we head into the double-digit weeks now, into week 10. We're gonna be recapping or previewing the week on Thursday. Make sure you're with us. And thank you for listening and watching. We hope that you're still in the hunt for your playoffs. Please make sure you're following us over on Twitter at Losing Sucks. Make sure you check us out on our website over at losingsucksfancy.com. As always, I'm Dustin. That's Travis. This is Losing Sucks. And remember, losing sucks. Don't do it.